Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth installment of my On the Road series. Note, I have a special guest in the second video. Thank you to my special guest for appearing. No pro tip today. Let's get right to it. Welcome to Paulsbo, Washington. Originally inhabited by the Suquamish people in 1880, a Norwegian immigrant founded Paulsbo and was joined by many other Scandinavians. Today, Paulsbo keeps that Norwegian/Viking theme alive with a 12-foot statue at one of the entrances to Paulsbo. There is Viking artwork. There's a Viking brewery. There's many of the stores has Viking paraphernalia. And of course, there's the famous Paulsbo bread, which is shipped out internationally. Down by the harbor, there's a statue of King Olaf V, who was the king of Norway and visited Paulsbo in 1975. Is it worth seeing? Yeah, sure. There's some cool shops. There's some good restaurants, some good breweries. If you're into the Viking thing, which apparently everyone is these days, yeah, come on by, see Paulsbo. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bainbridge Island, Washington, and I want to welcome my extra special guest, my niece number 3 of 4. This is niece Natalie.
Number 2.
Okay. Yes.
Number 2 of 4.
Number 2 of 4. Usually by age would be 3 of 4, but...
No? Oh, I guess Lainey.
Well, she is a niece. But we digress. So we are here on Bainbridge Island at the Japanese-American Exclusion Memorial. So in World War II, the U.S. rounded up 120,000 Japanese Americans and put them in an internment camp because we were afraid that they would revolt from the inside as we fought the Japanese. In 1942, they came to Bainbridge Island. They took 227 Japanese Americans, rounded them up, brought them down here to the docks, and shipped them off to an internment camp. They had no idea where they were going, what was going on. It was all done to fellow Americans. And this is a memorial. You can see things like the folded origami, which is always a sign of respect and duty. So, my niece, you always have something to say. What type of input what do you think of this whole deal?
I think it's horrible. Like I was talking to my grandma who's German, and she was talking about how it was never a concern for her because she was white.
Right.
And yeah, I think, I don't know, it's not really talked about a lot, and also the language we use around it is really not really heavy enough to actually cover what happened because people won't use concentration camp to describe it, which obviously, like, there's a lot of valid reasons why you wouldn't use concentration camp when at the same time Nazi Germany
because of bad stigma, but
yeah.
But that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, it was a concentration camp, not an internment camp. Yeah, and it was really horrible. And
all right, so tell me this. If we had talked about it more, do you think there'd be less of the racial hate and violence that's going on today?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because, like, in Global Health Club, we did an education segment on Asian American voices in healthcare and Pacific Islander voices in healthcare, and we talked about how like Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have been used as scapegoats for like hundreds and hundreds of years. So like this is just another example of it. So I don't know. Like I think having more conversations about that would maybe like connect some dots for some people.
I agree. As uncomfortable as it may be, history is history. What happened, happened. And if you don't talk about it, ignore it, history repeats itself, right?
Yeah, also just makes like current events more clear to understand history.
All right. It's a tough subject. I can't think of anything to make this light or funny. It's just what happened the way it is. Okay. Take care, everyone. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Welcome to Seattle. Excuse the crappy photography, but this is just what it looks like. It's homeless tents. And it's not in certain areas in Tent City. They're everywhere throughout Seattle. And I bring this up because I saw this up and down the West Coast. California. In fact, there's cities in California, in Southern Cal, in LA, close to San Francisco, where over 10% of the population is homeless. And in Seattle, I was just amazed at Pioneer Square. There's homeless. By the Union Station, there's homeless. This is an issue that existed before COVID, but COVID made it worse. Every community is complaining about it. Every governor is trying to fix it. Every mayor is trying to fix it. Problem is it's very complex. Are they homeless because of an addiction? Are they homeless because of a mental health issue? Are they homeless just because they can no longer afford their housing and it's a financial problem? And then where do we put the homeless while we try to help them and get them back on their own? Every community wants it fixed, but no community wants homeless shelters in their community. It's a mess. It's something that has to be fixed. I don't have a solution, but I did want to note it because on the West Coast especially, it's everywhere. And it's a doggone pity. Welcome to the U.S. Naval Undersea Museum in Keyport, Washington. This was recommended to me by a friend of mine who's a retired submariner or a retired sailor. I don't know which is the correct terminology. I'm sure he'll tell me now. And inside is everything, you guessed it, submarine. You have cutouts of torpedoes, you have history, you have cutouts of submarines. You have equipment. Danger, Will Robinson. There is a lot of cool stuff in here. You could spend an hour messing around, and it's absolutely free. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And there you go. Tomorrow, I start the final leg of my journey. I will have one more, I believe, installment of this series. It depends what I find in Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and South Dakota. Stay safe, everyone.